Welcome to English Practice Everyday. In this video, we will answer 4 questions. 1. What are figures of speech? 2. Are they important for fluent English speaking? 3. How many types are there? 4. How to learn and master them. On this channel, I have always encouraged you to keep a dictionary with you and look up new words whenever you encounter them in your learning journey. I have also encouraged you to keep talking to yourself and, if possible, record your talk on a recording device to listen afterward and correct your mistakes when talking to someone. In this video, I will go one step ahead and urge you to read whatever you can find, but read out loud. Novels, newspapers, vlogs, anything. While reading, pay attention to the specific use of language by the writer. You will find most often they use figures of speech, which is also known as rhetorical figures. This form of language use is most common in writing, but we can use these rhetorical figures while speaking as well. To build better fluency, to express ourselves better to others, to be more creative in our speech, and to be more persuasive, impactful, and engaging with others. Of course, to be able to do this, one needs advanced level of understanding of English language, but that should not discourage us. If we start now, over the time, we will acquire that advanced English fluency. Now, let's answer our questions one by one. First, what are figures of speech? What are figures of speech? Figures of speech are linguistic devices or techniques that writers use to create a more imaginative and expressive impact in their language. These devices add richness and depth to the language, making it more interesting and engaging. Second question, are figures of speech important for fluent English speaking? Honestly, it's not absolutely necessary to use figures of speech for fluent English speaking. But if we can use them while speaking, they certainly enhance our language skills and communication. I will provide you with a few reasons to incorporate figures of speech in our speaking. First is expressiveness. Figures of speech add depth, vividness, and expressiveness to our language. They help us convey ideas in a more imaginative and engaging manner, making our speech more interesting. Second, creativity. Using figures of speech shows creativity and a command of the language since it allows us to play with words and create memorable expressions. Third is impact. Figures of speech often evoke emotions or create mental images that stick with the listener or reader, thus creating more impact in our speaking. Fourth is cultural understanding. Some figures of speech may be idiomatic or culturally rooted, so understanding and using them can also contribute to a deeper understanding of the language and its cultural nuances. Fifth is effective communication. Certain figures of speech like metaphors and similes can simplify complex ideas, making them more accessible and easier to understand for our audience. Sixth is engagement. Whether we are speaking or writing, using figures of speech can captivate our audience and maintain their interest. This is particularly important in public speaking, storytelling, or any form of persuasive communication. Now the third question. How many types are there? There are numerous types of figures of speech, and they can be categorized in various ways. So far, I have got a list of 40 in total, and in a broad sense, we can classify them into different categories such as 1. Comparison, which we do with similes and metaphors. Comparison, which we do with similes and metaphors. Simile is a comparison between two different things using the words like or as. For example, as brave as a lion or as busy as a bee. Metaphor is a direct comparison between two unrelated things, suggesting that they are alike. Unlike a simile, it doesn't use like or as. For instance, time is a thief. Second category is exaggerations, which we do with hyperbole. Hyperbole is exaggerating for emphasis or effect. For instance, I have told you 1,000,000 times. A million times here is obviously an exaggeration. It means many times. Third category is personification, which is giving human characteristics to non-human entities or objects. For example, the wind whispered through the trees, where we treat the wind as human who did the whispering. Fourth category is sound devices, which include alliteration, assonance, and onomatopoeia. Alliteration, assonance, and onomatopoeia. Alliteration means the repetition of initial consonant sounds in a sequence of words. For example, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Assonance means the repetition of vowel sounds within nearby words. For example, the rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain. The rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain. Onomatopoeia is words that imitate the sound they describe. For example, buzz, hiss, or clang. Buzz, hiss, or clang. These are onomatopoeia. Fifth category is contradictions, which we do with irony and oxymoron. Irony means a figure of speech in which the intended meaning of a word or expression is opposite to its literal or usual meaning. For example, when it's raining heavily outside, one can say, "What lovely weather we are having." Or, "A fire station burns down." This is ironic because a place that is supposed to prevent fires is itself affected by fire. That is irony. Oxymoron means a combination of contradictory or opposing words, such as jumbo shrimp or deafening silence. That is oxymoron. Sixth category is wordplay, which we do with puns. Pun is a play on words that exploits the multiple meanings of a term or similar sounding words for humorous or rhetorical effect. For example, I used to be a baker, but I couldn't make enough dough, so I decided to make some real bread. This pun involves wordplay on dough, which also means money, and real bread, which is actual bread made by a baker. Seventh category is references, which we do with allusion. Allusion means a brief and indirect reference to a person, place, thing, or idea of historical, cultural, literary, or political significance. For example, she had a smile that could rival the Mona Lisa's. This is an allusion to Leonardo da Vinci's famous painting, the Mona Lisa, known for her enigmatic smile. So far, we have answered 3 questions. 1. What are figures of speech? 2. Are they important for English speaking fluency? And 3rd, how many types are there? Finally, 4th question, how to learn and master them. Learning and mastering figures of speech involves a combination of studying, practice, and observation. In our upcoming videos dedicated to figures of speech, together we will explore various strategies that will help us learn and master these rhetorical figures. Meanwhile, here are a few of my suggestions. 1. Read extensively, including literature, poetry, and various types of writing. Pay attention to how authors use figures of speech to enhance their language. Second, develop a personal reference guide or note cards that include definitions and examples of various figures of speech. Review these regularly to reinforce your understanding. 3. Incorporate figures of speech into your writing. Start with simple sentences and gradually experiment with more complex structures. 4th suggestion, pay attention to how people around you use figures of speech in everyday conversations. Analyze speeches, articles, and other written materials to identify the types of figurative language used. 5th suggestion, engage in discussions about language, literature, and writing. Share and discuss examples of figures of speech with others to deepen your understanding. 6th suggestion, read aloud. Reading aloud can help you better appreciate the rhythm and sound of language, including figures of speech. 7th and last suggestion, be patient and persistent. Mastery takes time. If we are patient and persistent in our efforts to learn and use figures of speech, eventually it will definitely contribute to our English proficiency. And that's all for this introductory video of figures of speech. I urge you to please go through this video again to understand things better. In our next video, we will learn and master figure of speech, alliteration. Bye for now.